Okay, here we are, closing in on the process of a hive going into swarm. And I don't know if you can see it on the video. There are a lot of bees in the air. And this particular hive, which was extremely strong, has swarmed just moments ago. There are bees everywhere. And it is my belief now that possibly the queen has already left. Aha! Now, do you see that bush over there? That's where the swarm went last time. That's where the queen landed. And I see them congregating there. And my bet is that the bees that you can see now everywhere around me are going to end up over there. I'll bet that is where she is. Now, only a moment ago, this particular hive, which was highly populated, was completely surrounded, covered in bees. They have issued, it is my belief now that the queen has left, and that she is somewhere. Boy, I'll bet you she's over there. The swarming process is complex. It's how hives procreate. Unfortunately, it's going to reduce the population of this hive, but in my particular case, this isn't such a bad idea. Now, I tried to stop the swarming with lots of room. This hive has already issued a swarm once a week and a half ago. That's now installed in that fourth stand back there. That third stand I disassembled yesterday, that's a failed swarm capture from 2.5 weeks ago, where the bees just didn't have the staying power to last the full 3 weeks it was taking for the new workers to emerge. Oh, the queen was laying, but not a whole lot. But there's a little cluster of bees over here, and I am starting to wonder if this is perhaps where the queen landed. This is where the first issuing swarm landed. Oh yeah, I don't think there's any two ways about it. I think she's in here. So now what I'm going to do, thankfully, yeah, you can see the ball starting to form just inside. You just go inside here. That means the queen is there. Now what's going to be tough for me is she's gone into the middle of the bush. I'll get her. They're going to surround her. This entire cloud of bees that's around me is slowly going to congregate on that spot. They're going to send out scouts to look for a new home. Before that happens, I'm going to install them into a new hive, and this colony will become two. You know, in many ways, I mean, I need more hives anyway. In many ways, the bees have done the work for me, and it's happened in a normal, natural way. What I do have to be aware of is the fact that this particular hive is now weakened. So I'll have another look at it and reconfigure it if necessary. Find the new queen. It's going to take her 2 weeks to mate, which means 2 weeks before she can mate, which means the brood laid by that last queen now has to be the supply of workers until the new queen. And then the ones that eggs that she lays are going to take another 3 weeks to create workers. So the workers created in this hive now, with this new unmated queen in it, are going to be the workers laid by that queen. The first queen, who's over there, is now 2 years old. So this is a new queen, just made, probably a week, maybe a week and a half ago. That's a queen from 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm going to have to assume she mated, which is good, because there seems to have been a mating problem. Now, I am interested, this is a swarm trap over here. Wouldn't it be nice if the scouts just found that swarm trap? And, oh man, there's another cluster here. What's going on? 2 swarms? No way. No way. That's not possible. Okay, I'm totally baffled now. Maybe the pheromone from the last... Is it possible that... No, I've never read that. All my research, I've never seen 2 swarms out of 1 hive. Okay, I'm going to shut off the video while I think about this. Okay, this is my cat, but this is not a video about cats. This is a video about bees. So what we have is a swarm. I was going to say are 2 swarms. The reason why, this is the colony after a swarm. Some bees are hanging out thinking, okay, I guess we're not going, we're going to stay and keep the colony going. Over here, ignoring my artfully crafted swarm trap, is a swarm in a tree. Now this is normal, this is what they normally do. So there's a big blob of bees surrounding the queen. But at the same time, over here, same cat. Cat doesn't care, doesn't fear bees. On this bush is another swarm. Surely there is no way that two queens coexisted from the same hive. Like, there's just no way. Or is there? Like I said before, in all of my research, I've never heard of such a thing. Is it possible that two swarms would issue at exactly the same time with a cat from the same hive? I know what you're thinking. What about these other two hives? Those are swarms that were captured only a week and a half ago. There's no way that those are, that they swarmed. No, two swarms came from this hive. It is, for me, a mystery. However, I better get my act together because now I have to capture two swarms. And there's no one here to help me or video it, so I'll just show you the aftermath, I guess. The wonderful world of beekeeping. What a glorious process. Cool. More later. Stay tuned. So, in a nutshell, here's what appears to have happened today. The tall hive on the right appears to have issued two queens and two swarms at the exact same moment. They took to the air. One of them landed in this tree here, and another one landed in the bush you see back there by the hive parts that are sitting on the ground to the right and behind the large hive. On this tree, thankfully it was a small tree, I could bend it, and I shook the bees and the cluster down into this box. The queen appears to have gone in with the cluster, and although there is a little blob of bees on the outside, I am satisfied that the queen is inside the box, and that they are now just issuing the pheromone that says this is the new home. This happened about 20 minutes after the swarm issued from the original hive, so I think the scouts, if they've even gone out, will just come back and give up on the search because this home is just too good to be true. There's space in there for the cluster, but in addition to that, there are some frames of honeycomb with honey and pollen, and I've also sprayed it with a bit of honey syrup to make it really palatable for them. This second box down here is just to give me some height so I didn't have to shake it too far down. There's a screen bottom board there, so they won't be going, hopefully, won't be going into that open box below. It doesn't have any frames in it. Back over here, as you can see, that empty hive stand over there was one I disassembled yesterday. That's the swarm from 2.5 weeks ago from the arrow car. Unfortunately, there weren't enough workers to sustain that. There was a queen. She had a very poor laying pattern. She tried her best, but that swarm failed. The swarms coming out of this hive appear to be very strong. That fourth one at the back there, with the feeder on top, and I only feed captures and nukes, is from 2 weeks ago from this hive. And then over here you can see was that second swarm that came out of the same hive. I know it's from the same hive because the other hives aren't strong enough to have issued a swarm, and there was no indication that they would swarm. Now on this particular one, it's that stupid prickle bush again. I shook this one from a very low height down into the box. I had to angle the box, it was a lot tougher. But as you can see, the bees appear to be accepting it as the home. They're fanning their Nasonov gland to any stragglers to show them that this is the spot. There's a very, very small cluster of bees. Nope, it is no longer there. There was a cluster of bees at the base of the bush, and I had some fear that the queen was in that. I'm satisfied now that this box was successful in bringing in all of the bees. So, 2 swarms issued from one hive. I have about 800 bee books. I've been beekeeping for 3 years now. Any experienced beekeeper is probably thinking I'm an idiot on two, well, I am an idiot, but on 2 counts for this reason. One, to allow a swarm to happen twice. I put slotted boards on here. It's got a full opening. There was no congestion. an extra box on top with lots of space to build. There's no bridge comb, there's no burr comb, there was nothing in here. Yes, there were some swarm cells. Once the decision's been made, my understanding is that it's pretty much hard to stop them. The other reason you might think I'm an idiot is because I've never heard of two queens leaving the same hive at the same time and creating two swarms at once. Now maybe this is rare or maybe it's common. I've certainly never encountered it before. It's fun, it's exciting. This is the world of beekeeping. The world of the honeybee. Fascinating little creatures. Stay tuned. Hopefully there'll be more for the rest of the season here at Fairfax Hall Apiary and Bee Farm. And the final part of our video shows the mystery has been solved. I was right, there is no way that two swarms can issue from the same hive at the same time. However, what happened over here? Exactly as I thought. The queen pheromone on this bush from a week and a half ago was strong enough to trick much of that swarm to swarm here when in fact there was no queen inside. When I shook these bees inside this box, they took to the box. But after a little while, at least an hour and a half, they realized there's no queen here. So they all went back to the original issuing hive, where there was at least a queen, albeit the new one and not the old one that they swarmed with. Looking inside the hive box here, there are only a few bees. What are they doing? They're robbing. Robbing is simply the procedure where bees find nutrients such as pollen or mostly honey, and they just remove it from a source. So I now have a hive box which is nearly empty, a bush which has queen pheromone on it, and this whole group that I shook off, as you can see, has returned to the original hive, congregating at the surface, at the entrance rather, on the surface, probably doing a what TF. Meanwhile, back over here, this little box, that's the new queen. Well, actually, the old queen. And that truly is a captured swarm. So the mystery solved. In fact, two swarms cannot and do not issue from a hive at the same time. But queen pheromone can attract half of the swarm to the wrong place. But it's not long before they realize their mistake and return to the home hive. So now the home hive isn't quite as weakened as I thought it was. Thanks for watching.